By design, man is not only finite, he also has limitations in knowledge. Even with a robust network of information providers, it is still impossible to know everything. The internet today has a plethora of details about almost anything on this terrestrial ball and even beyond. Yet, the internet does not know everything. As much as it may appear to be omniscient and omnipresent, on the other hand, only God is infinite, all-knowing and all-seeing. His eyes are everywhere. His knowledge of all things is perfect. Whereas human beings have to learn before they know, God doesn't need to learn anything. He sees all that goes on in and outside our lives. Every detail of our lives is laid out before Him, and it is written in His book. The Psalmist made us understand this truth in Psalm 139 verse 16. There are times when we feel like God is unaware of what is going on in our lives. In fact, we can go the extra miles by accusing Him of being insensitive and not caring enough for us in our times of need. We find ourselves wondering if God was ever paying attention to our cries and pleas for help, salvation, and deliverance. If at all we can never accuse God of anything, it is never about the fact that He is unaware of the situations in our lives. When Joseph found himself in the prison, after the wife of Potiphar framed him for attempting to go to bed with her, I wonder what must have been going through his mind. I am sure he must have felt that God had forgotten about him. Here is a young man who was yet to recover from the hatred and evil plots of his brothers. He ended up in Egypt because his brothers tried to get rid of him by selling him into slavery. Joseph must have felt the whole universe conspiring against him to make his life utterly miserable. Many times we are like Joseph. We find ourselves going through a cycle of pain, hurt, disappointment, confusion, betrayal, and accusations. Yet, the startling truth that stares us in the face, if only we are diligent to look long enough, is that God knows about everything we are going through. God doesn't only know what we are going through, He is also aware of what they are about. While the myriad of unfortunate events may line our lives with no connection whatsoever, and may be a cause of worry and trepidation to us, God knows how each isolated misfortune is working out to produce for us a glorious end and wonderful result. In a way, God's means of preparing us for greater tasks and placement in places of power, prominence, and prestige may be incomprehensible to us. The words of a poem, written anonymously, captures this truth about God when it states that how He bends but never breaks. When He is good, He undertakes, how He uses whom He chooses, and which every purpose fuses Him, by every act induces Him to try His splendor out. God knows what He's about. Indeed, God knows everything that happens in your life. He equally knows what it is about. Since God is aware of everything, that also includes the things that you keep worrying about. That thing that keeps you awake all night, as you keep tossing and turning from one end of your bed to the other. God knows about it. He is aware of that tuition you have not been able to pay up. He knows the report of your medical diagnosis that seem irredeemable and beyond the ability of the best personnel and practitioners. Do not think that He has not heard those silent prayers in your heart that speaks of your desire to turn a new leaf and chase God wholeheartedly. If He has knowledge of every bird in the air and every strand of hair on your head, do you think He will not be aware of the things that matter to you? In the face of all this, what should be your response? Stop worrying and start living your life to its fullest. Whatever your life looks like now, and whatever anybody must have told you about your life, fear not. Only God has the final say. The verdict of man pales in comparison to the purposes and pronouncements of God. He encourages us in His word to rest in the fact that He knows what we need and will take care of us even more than He cares for the lilies of the field. I'm sure you must have seen some flowers sprout on fields before, adorned in their resplendence. You may have envied their beauty and wished your life was that beautiful. Yet, He assures us that He knows and He cares. Interestingly, He is able and willing to make our lives that attractive and the envy of others. The Apostle Peter said it this way in 1 Peter 5 verse 7. Casting all your care upon Him, for He cares for you. The promise of God is that He is attentive to you. He is listening to every loud laughter and whispered words. He's watching you to keep track of all that is going on in and around your life. You have His full attention. His eyes are completely fixed on you. He's watching out for you every day. He's aware of what you are going through. He knows all about it. And it gets more beautiful when you understand that He does not only know about it, but is equally doing something about it. So even though it may seem like God is not interested in you and what is going on in your life, be rest assured that He actually is aware and interested. And He is in control of your life today and every day. Therefore, yield to His will, trust Him, and let Him do with you as He wills.